Good day everyone, I am Victor, moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is HIPAA for Remote Employee. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Paul R. Hales. Paul R. Hales JD is widely recognized for his ability to explain HIPAA rules clearly in plain language. He is an attorney licensed to practice before the United States Supreme Court. He is a graduate of Columbia University Law School and senior counselor of the Missouri Bar with an international practice in HIPAA privacy and security. Paul authorizes all the content in the HIPAA e-tool, an internet-based complete HIPAA compliance solution with separate editions for covered entities, business associates, health plans, and third-party administrators. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Victor, and welcome to all. We're going to speak about HIPAA compliance for remote workers, so let's just jump right in to the agenda. So let's take a look at what we're going to cover. We're going to start with the impact of the pandemic. And it's really important, I think, to talk about why protecting protected health information, that's PHI, closely at the HIPAA rules and remote work protocols, how the compliance for remote work is based directly on the HIPAA rule. I do have to give you an alert in advance, and this has to do with all of you who are involved in HIPAA compliance, and that is that the HIPAA privacy rule is changing. So the pandemic, suddenly almost everyone was working from home. So why is protecting PHI privacy essential at every workplace? Protected health information is really the gold standard for identity thieves. So let's take a look at that brief excerpt. So what is PHI as HIPAA defines it? What protected health information is? And here's an example of a phishing email that I got. It appears to come from the Microsoft account team. So that's spoofing, and it looks like it comes from a reliable source. So we'll look at the HIPAA rules, and the HIPAA rules wind up being the basis for the remote checklists that we'll discuss toward the end of this presentation. HIPAA for remote workers is all about fundamentals, and fundamentals like in sports. If you play tennis, the fundamental thing is to keep your eye on the ball. Football, they say it's blocking and tackling. So let's look at the HIPAA basic statute. It was passed in 1996. You see, it's a very big law, and the almost as an afterthought, they added a requirement that individually identifiable health information. There are 4 HIPAA rules. So here are some examples. These are just screenshots taken from the HIPAA e-tool, and these are, of course, downloadable policies. Now, the security rule. Now, the breach notification rule requires written policies and procedures. Now, with respect to creating your own remote work checklist, well, here's some guidance that it's a way to tailor your remote work checklist to your specific circumstances, the specific circumstances of your organization. In doing a risk analysis of protected health information at a remote location, let's look at risk management safeguards for protected health information at a remote location. Now, in terms of enterprise-wide, regarding remote work policies and procedures, so we reviewed the impact of the pandemic, why protecting PHI privacy is essential, how the HIPAA rules, what they are, and why they are the basis for the protocols that you establish for remote working. And we've given you guidance on developing your um, risk analysis, risk management, and checklists to be able to manage risks and reduce them to reasonable and appropriate level for people who are working remotely. So I want to thank everyone for your time in attending this webinar today. And I want to wish you well in your own HIPAA compliance program. And so with that, I want to say again, thank you for your um, attendance and best wishes to all.
Thank you, Paul. That does conclude the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead. Take care.